On the heels of one of the wildest finishes in Iron Bowl history, and that's saying something, isn't it? Time once again for Second Watch on the YouTube and podcast homes for BamaOnLine.com. Travis Reier, senior analyst, back with you following Alabama 27, Auburn 24, Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond, the Gravedigger, from 31 yards away on fourth and goal. And the Crimson Tide survives its latest trip to Jordan-Hare Stadium. 4 straight wins for Alabama in this series now. The first time that's happened under Nick Saban. So let's get right into it from Saturday's game. Auburn with the football first. The Tigers win the coin toss, elect to take the ball. Auburn comes out throwing a couple of early passes and some early pressure on third down from Chris Braswell. Also, Dallas Turner helping to flush Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne out into the right flat. And the first of 3 illegal forward passes from the quarterbacks in this game on Saturday as Thorne, well past the line of scrimmage, throws the football. Going to be a loss of down. Again, you see Braswell early getting a win. You got Justin Aboybe and Jamarian Latham in there in that pass rush package. Thorne delivers too late, and Alabama's going to get the football here. And if you were wondering who was going to be back deep on punt Saturday, it was Caleb Downs. I know in the pregame you still saw Kool-Aid McKinstry back there some, but it was Downs for the first return of the day, and it's not going to be a return. Auburn's Gunners did a nice job to the bottom of the screen against Antonio Kite and Devontae Smith. So even with the bounce, Downs isn't going to be able to make a play on that football. Tiger roll into the 31-yard line for the Crimson Tide. And so Alabama comes out and really tries to establish the run game early, flip the back and the tight end there. It's 11 personnel for Alabama to open the game. Jace McClellan offset to Jalen Milroe's left. And just your split zone approach that we've seen Alabama utilize a good bit this year. Jace gets downhill quickly. Nice job by CJ Dupree at the point of attack. You see Tyler Booker climbing up to the linebacker level. This is a statement of sorts, you think anyway, at the time, as Jace rolls up a first down on that carry. Another first down run for Alabama. Short toss into the boundary. Namari Nyblack with a nice job on the kick out here. Watch Caden Proctor from the left tackle position. A little bit of a box out. Nice job by Caden with the cutoff. Now you got J.C. Latham getting downhill out on the edge along with Kendrick Law, and you're talking about 4 or 5 yards before first contact. Another productive run for the Crimson Tide. You get a penalty, though. It was J.C. Latham, a little too aggressive, I guess, for the officials' liking there after the play or at the end of the play. So now Alabama faced with a 3rd and 17, and you get the penalty and you start thinking, well, here comes the Jordan-Hare mojo, so to speak. You look like you're off to a good start. Now you're behind the chains. But Jalen going to get some time here. Initially, he gets a little bit of heat as you see the back swing out into this flat. But you'll watch CJ Dupree work across the middle of the field right there. See him in the middle of the field? JC able to get just enough of his guy. Jalen not bothered to the extent of pulling his eyes down, keeps him up. And now he's got Malik Benson on the crossing route. Nice ball from Jalen Milroe. And what about Benson after the catch? Another 13, 14 yards on a 3rd and 17. You'll see it here again. Dupree crossing. That inside linebacker gets influenced just enough to create that window, and there's Benson in the middle of the field. And so if you want to answer the mojo issue, you convert a 3rd and 17, and then you immediately get downhill in the run game with Roydell Williams. A little bit of a bounce here, puts his foot in the ground. Kendrick blocking there on the hash mark on the top side. And now Roydell gets behind his pads and finishes that run with authority. Alabama set up with a 2nd and 1 from the Auburn 2, and this is pretty easy for Roydell Williams. You get a good job here from Jaden Roberts at the right guard position. A little bit of leakage to the right side there with J.C. Latham, but Roydell able to get in there to the guard to that B gap, and Jaden Roberts doing good work at that right guard position, and it's an Alabama touchdown. Quick start for the Crimson Tide as we look at it once again. Watch Jaden right here. Gets his guy turned enough and that's going to be easy for Roydell. Ensuing kickoff. Here's that man again. Kendrick Law down there quickly, as you see right here, blocking the back. Kendrick going to get a hand up into the face mask of Batee, the return man for Auburn. Simultaneous almost to the block in the back. Right after that, you see it right there. There's the block in the back. And Auburn ends up having to punt from inside its own 10. Here's Alabama now in great shape, up 7-0, midway through the first quarter. 4th and 1. There's Kendrick Law in sort of that wing position that we've seen him in. And you're going to go for it. Go ahead and take a shot. This is some nice play design, really. You're going to see Robbie Oots right here with the down block. Miles Kitzelman off the ball does a nice job, as we'll see here as we run it. But 4th and 1 play, going to give it to Kendrick. And right there with CJ Dupree, you're going to get the flag. Nice job by Kitzelman on the kick out. That's why I don't think you even really needed the hold, as you'll see it right there. I think Kendrick's going to get the edge. He may have had to bow it out just a little bit, but they're going to call that. You see the ref looking right at it. But look at Kitzelman doing a nice job there, kicking that out. It is for naught. It is 4th and 11. Now James Burnip going to come on, and you figure, well, if nothing else, the silver lining, if there is one, in losing a touchdown that would have put you up 14-0 midway through the first quarter, is that you expect Burnip to pin the Tigers deep. It does not happen. Punting into the boundary, this is the danger with trying to directionally punt, even in a hang 10 situation. You don't have a lot of field to work with. So if you don't catch it, great. Or if it goes off the side of your foot, there's only one place for it really to go, and that's out of bounds. And that's what this one does, up around the Alabama 30. So complimentary football in this sequence isn't a friend of the Crimson Tide. You lose a touchdown to a holding penalty on offense. You shank the punt on special teams, and then Auburn comes out and figures out, hey, you know what we did last year against Alabama? We ran the football especially well. So let's maybe try that here on the perimeter. And it's a little bit of a different look to the counter, because Auburn's not just bringing the backside guard and tight end, but also brings this wide receiver, Javarius Johnson, around. So now you've got numbers to the outside. And at the snap, I know to the Alabama defense, it looks like, again, sort of your typical counterplay. But with the wide receiver out here in front to the field, you're making Alabama play on the perimeter. You're making the defensive back set edges. Terrion Arnold there, Malachi Moore, Trez Marshall late in getting over the top. And so Jarquez Hunter, as you'll see here, see Johnson's also in front of this thing. So you see Jamarian Latham, he closes down on that pulling guard to try to take away the inside run and squeeze that thing. But it's a pretty much perimeter run all the way. And Hunter, like he did in Tuscaloosa a year ago, able to hit it for some sizable yardage. Now Auburn with 1st and 10. Here comes the guard and tight end again. Now this is going to be more of the classic counter. And you can see initially Auburn's in good shape against the Alabama defensive front, and also have an offensive guard already up here at the linebacker level against the backside inside linebacker. Here's Deontay Lawson. Tight ends did a nice job for Auburn in the game too, with Alabama's linebackers, both inside and outside. And you got that thing just the way you want it if you're Auburn. And there goes Hunter. And you get a bad angle from Jalen Key right here, a missed tackle. And now Hunter is going to turn this into an explosive play. Nice hustle by Dallas Turner to get down there and help save a touchdown, make Auburn play from the red zone. It's been a formula that's worked well for Alabama this season. They have given up some explosive plays, but what they have done is stop play short of the end zone and force offenses to earn it from down inside the 20. Auburn's going to do that, though, as you've got a 1st and 10 run. And you'll see this, you've got a pretty good edge set out here to the field. Again, it looks like it's going to be a perimeter run to the field. You're in good shape with your edge, but Tim Smith comes across so hard that he essentially creates a lane right here. See the space now? Your linebackers are getting caught up once again, Deontay and Trez Marshall. Here comes Jalen Key trying to get over the top. He makes initial contact, but look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about 5 yards down the field. So you're not setting the point of attack the way you want to up front. You're not getting there at the linebacker level. And now you've got even Austin running through contact for 9 yards. And it is now 1st and goal for the Tigers. Split zone for Auburn. Start to the play side. Got it fitted okay. You're a little bit wide on the hash at the top, kind of creates a little bit of a seam, but you fill it key at the safety spot. Trez Marshall right here. That's going to be tough to make that play. Deontay over here. You got an Alabama defensive lineman on the ground here. And so Austin's going to run through this initial contact at about a 2.5 yard line, and it's a touchdown for the Auburn Tigers. See it one more time. You're getting some movement on that zone, and you're opening up that cutback lane, and then you've got to account for this back with your safety. Jalen Key, like Deontay Lawson, coming back from an injury. Maybe a bit of a tough ask for Key at this point. He's not able to make the stop, and it's a 7-7 game. 144 left in the first quarter. Alabama football. 11 personnel. Once again, it is a give to Jace. Again, some pretty good work by the right side of that offensive line. Solid run for the Crimson Tide. You'll watch here. Watch Jaden Roberts. Got his guy turned out. Nice job by Seth McLaughlin right here getting up to that linebacker level. Tyler Booker keeping his guy at bay there. And so another solid run. You get into the early stages of the second quarter now. Same possession for the Crimson Tide. 3rd and 8. And it looks like initially Jalen wants to work that flare route out to Jace that we've seen in the past. Pretty good protection for Alabama. Jalen doesn't have anything working, so he's going to turn it up. And when he gets the corner right here, and he needs just outside the 3 yard line for a 1st and goal, you think this might be a touchdown. Maybe give him the ball fake there and get that guy up in the air and then cut it back. But instead, Jalen actually throws the football. And as we can see, like Peyton Thorne before him, well behind the line of scrimmage, it's a touchdown to Maury Nyblack, except it isn't. And Alabama is forced to settle for a red zone field goal. After all the red zone success Alabama had over the last month, couple of red zone field goals in this game look like they might be costly as you got into the latter stages of the fourth quarter. 9:42 left in the second quarter. Auburn football. Here comes that same play that we saw on Auburn's second possession. Here comes the guard from the backside. Here comes the tight end. Here comes the wide receiver once again. C. Johnson out in front like he was earlier in the game, and also again working to the field, working to the wide side, trying to get these backs out on the edges. But Dallas Turner's not having it this time. He's athletic enough to make that play even against the pullers. You'll see it right here. Takes it on, keeps that outside shoulder clean, and is able to drop Austin for the tackle for loss. So 2nd and 15 for Auburn now. And here you see the pass rush for Alabama. A very nice job of constricting the pocket and not giving Thorne room to work or move out of there and maybe hit it for a run. Not sure if that is what he really wanted to do on this play. This tight end looks like he's almost just boxing out. I don't know if that's really a route. We'll talk about 84 as we move throughout the program. But what you've got here is a twist to the top that Alabama worked. You'll see it. Damon Payne first comes through. And now here comes Justin Aboigbe, and Damon's able to flush him up in there, Thorne, and Aboigbe able to clean it up. Alabama, after an Auburn punt, pins the Crimson Tide down at its 1 yard line. Here is the tush push. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this coming off your own goal line. I'm good with especially this Alabama offense working under center, but Auburn also gave you some information, I think, in terms of how it was going to play this throughout the game that was probably valuable when you got into the fourth quarter and you needed to convert one of these situations. But straight up tush push off the 1 yard line, and it doesn't get a whole lot. Again, you probably gleaned some things that you're able to put in your back pocket for later. And now it's 3rd and 6 a few snaps later. Shotgun snap to Jalen. Looks out here to the left. He's getting some heat. Good job getting the ball out to Amari Nyblack. And Amari right here with about 2 yards to gain, you think, well, he's going to get this easy. And it looks like right there he's going to, and then he stops. He makes the one cut stops, try to make another move. In that situation, you got one cut and you got to go get the 2 yards. Amari very fortunate at this point because the ball, he stays off of the ground and on top of the defender, and it looks like the ball barely gets to the yellow line. Watch Tyler Booker right here. He's not happy. Watch Tyler's reaction. Slaps himself in the head. Even he knows. Come on, Amari, you got to go get that. Again, right here, you're good. You make that cut. Okay, go get the 1.5 yards. But then when you stop, now everything is up in question. And one of those plays, we'll see it with Jermaine Burton later in the game. The call on the field is everything because getting that overturned in that situation is going to be very tough. So Alabama with a 1st and 10 from its own 11. Jalen going to give right here to Jace. Again, another strong first down run. Nothing wrong with that. Wasn't an especially explosive day for Alabama backs on the ground, but ran for 192 yards. Of course, Jalen had more than 100 of that. And so now you play 2nd and 5 with about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Pass protection, not really bad. It looks like Jalen's trying to work something to the sticks with these two receivers on each side of the hash marks. He doesn't have something there. He's got Jace on a sort of angle route coming out of the backfield. He wants to ditch. He almost ditches into a sack. That's not bad from Caden Proctor, who stays with it and helps Jalen free himself to the right. And now Jalen is going to do what Jalen does, go get the yards and pick up a first down. It leads to nothing, however, and so Auburn with the football one more time, 3:32 left in the second quarter. You're thinking, man, Alabama can probably get this thing to the half at 10-7, get the ball coming out, maybe even score itself to go up in at the half. That's the ideal scenario for the Crimson Tide at this point, but Auburn wasn't really cooperative with that line of thinking. Here you have Thorne taking that shotgun snap, and this is more of that counter look into the boundary. Couple of things here. Dallas Turner trying to slam the door on the guard. And right here, you've got Jahad Campbell with that outside shoulder accounted for. Deontay's up in the wash. And Deontay actually ends up in pretty good shape right here. But this is another situation, like we talked about with Jalen Key. You wonder exactly to what extent Deontay was able to go Saturday because this is a tackle he's probably going to make. Otherwise, he isn't able to make it. And Austin able to approach the first down marker. And 2nd and 2 coming up, another give to Austin. And this is a situation where Auburn is in really good shape with its offensive line. And you get Jamarian Latham turned inside, and you've got your backers over here. Caleb Downs trying to set an edge right there. You got Kool-Aid coming up, but look at this offensive lineman for Auburn getting to Kool-Aid now, and you're accounted for. And this is going to be an explosive run for Austin. And it's basically just Austin and Jalen Key. Key's not able to get Austin onto the ground legally anyway. It's a face mask, so throw another 15 on there for the Auburn Tigers. And suddenly now, instead of being in a position of advantage, you're just trying to hang on defensively. You'll see it one more time here. Watch Jamarian Latham right here as he goes inside. And you see these Auburn offensive linemen. See how in unison they're stepping left on that zone play? And now you give it, and Fairweather's doing a pretty good job out there against Caleb Downs. Your backer is in here. Now you got an OL up on your corner, and you've got a single high safety, so it's going to be on Jalen Key to get over and make a stop there. Few plays later, here's Auburn at the Alabama 12, 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Been running that split zone, and guess what? Here comes the reverse. The end around, I guess, is the proper way to describe that, to Javarius Johnson. You get your edge defender here, Jamarian Latham inside, and now you look at sort of the flanks you got here. It's kind of a pin and pull with this receiver coming down. You already got an OL up here on this level, tight end again, out on the edge, leading the way. And this is something I talked about on instant analysis. This is something Georgia will give you this week, too. They'll give you Brock Bowers on the end around or Lad McConkey or one of those guys and Jod Campbell makes the tackle, but it's going to be too late. Here you see Jamarian. He's inside. It could be that Jamarian's doing his job, that he's squeezing down and accounting for the quarterback. But with the end around, you're not going to get there with your linebackers, and your corner is getting double teamed down the field. Kool-Aid's not going to win that one. Nice play design. Nice possession there for the Auburn Tigers, who now lead 14-10. So all of this happening in the last 3.5 minutes of the first half. Alabama comes right back. You've got these Auburn defensive backs with their eyes in the backfield. Got to think that the safety here is thinking that DJ James is in man coverage. DJ James must be thinking he's got safety help. Neither of which is true, fortunately for Jermaine Burton, and it's a simple throw and catch. As long as Jalen doesn't overthrow that ball, it's going to be a touchdown to Jermaine Burton. Just like that. 17-14 Alabama, 1 second left in the second quarter. Everybody had a lot of fun with that, didn't they? On the 10-year anniversary of the kick six, put 1 second back on the clock there in the second quarter. Heck, we even saw something like that, right? With an Auburn field goal at the end of the first half back in 2019, I believe. So here's that second. I'll tell you who didn't think it was a great idea this time around, Peyton Thorne, because he gets the brunt of the pass rush right here. And not only that, he gets an interception thrown for his troubles. Here you see Peyton. Peyton's like, yeah, they could have just ran that out. I'd have been fine with that. 17-14 Alabama at the half. The Crimson Tide comes out to start the third quarter off play action. Going to work it to Amari Niblack into the boundary. Jalen with a nice ball, good protection. We'll see it again. You see Amari run the hash up there, and then he'll cut it to the outside. And this linebacker isn't in bad shape right here, but this is well anticipated, well thrown, and it's a first down to Amari Niblack. Jalen in the gun. Here comes that toss. Alabama's run the action off of that toss into the boundary to hit for some big plays in the passing game. This time just pitches it out there to the field to Roydell. Roydell was here for the smoke on Saturday. Once he put his foot in the ground, somebody was going to pay for it. And Auburn really didn't have a defender there with first contact until about 7-8 yards down the field. So an easy third down conversion, as we'll see it again. A little bit of a pin and pull action. Robbie Oots blocking down. Here comes big JC Latham out in space. Amari Niblack doing a good job out in front, and that's an easy conversion for Roydell. Third and goal now for Alabama early in the third quarter from just inside the Auburn 5. Little bit of a snap issue, but it looks like Jalen wants to work this route to the top. It's a stack sort of switch release. And Jermaine coming out of the break on a whip slips a little bit. And Jalen goes to the top across the field from that far hash. Tough throw to make right here, especially in the red zone, but not a bad ball. Bond in pretty good shape. Looks like initially it might be caught. DJ James makes the play, and you'll see it here in slow-mo once again. Jermaine trying to whip it back inside. There he loses his footing. Not sure you really had that there because Simpson is waiting for that. He's in that window. He's in that passing lane. So Jalen decides to go up top. And again, watch the little push there. A little bit through the ball. A little early, isn't it? Doesn't get the call there. So Alabama, once again, it is a red zone field goal. And those ominous feelings you get when those red zone field goals start to pile up on the road and you allow that home team to stay within a score, a touchdown lead for the Crimson Tide. So Auburn football 2nd and 6 now on the move inside the Alabama 30-yard line, motion into a stack. And what we'll see here when we watch this back, easy throw and catch to Javarius Johnson for a touchdown. Here comes Johnson motioning across the formation. And it seems like motion gives every defense a lot of problem. That's why we see so much of it these days. But you've got Kool-Aid in straight up man, straight up press. So he's not coming out of that. So I don't know if you can communicate that. And if you can, it simply wasn't to switch it, maybe trade it off. But this is the perfect play call against it. You get a little bit of a rub there. Malachi squats in the flat. Now you got no one running with Javarius Johnson. Easy touchdown for the Tigers, who now go up 21-20. 6:35 left in the third quarter. Jalen off a little bit of play action, looks to throw early, doesn't have what he wants into the boundary. So here he goes to the field. And this isn't just going to be a first down. This is going to be an explosive play for Jalen Milroe as he runs the football inside the Auburn 40-yard line. Brings up a 3rd and 3 a few snaps later from the Auburn 15 as we roll it here. See, and that snap even, I don't think Jalen was ready for that snap. And you can kind of see Seth McLaughlin's head turn around like, ooh, I hope that worked out. Well, it worked out because it hit Jalen right in the belt buckle. But I think it also probably threw Jalen off a little bit in terms of going through his progressions on a 3rd and 3 play. That's no problem, though, because he gets the edge here. He's going to convert this until right there. Kendrick Law with the peel back block, it's going to get called every time. And you see the rain of flags as he delivers the blow to Jalen Simpson there on the 3rd down play. Brings up a 4th and 12. Here comes Will Reichard, 42 yards out into the eagle eye. Look at that eagle up there on the Jumbotron. And we'll roll this. Everything looks good. The operation is good. Snap's good. Placement by James Burnip is good. But if Will Reichard has a miss this season, it seems like it's right. And this ball just wasn't struck well because this is 42 yards out. And for a guy that we've seen make from 50 plus, this ball barely gets to the first row there behind the goalpost. And so that tells me that Will just did not get a good hit on that attempt. And again, it feels like it's getting late early with 2:59 now left in the third and Alabama trailing by a point. And here it comes. The quarterback runs become more of a problem too, as you see this. And I think this is too a byproduct. Give Peyton Thorne credit. I think he reads this stuff. I don't think it's predetermined in Auburn's offense. So when he sees a safety up there and Caleb Downs coming off the corner to play that edge run, that's a read for him to keep it. And then you got your linebackers in here. Look at Campbell, you understand, because it's the back to the play side. Then you get Deontay in here. And then you get some interesting approaches to run defense over here. You kind of get it with Dallas Turner. See his outside shoulder. I'm not sure you wanted Justin Aboigbe out here too, because with that, it just creates a lot of space. You also get Tim Keenan moving outside of the hash mark to the top. And when that happens, there is a lot of green there on a 2nd and 7. You'll see it again right here. See Thorne? Look where Thorne's looking. He's looking at this right here. And that's telling him keep. And when he does keep, these two guys, you got Aboigbe out here. You got your one inside linebacker here. You got Jihad here. And you're good on Tim Keenan, who's working across. That just creates a lot of space. And Thorne's able to hit it. Give Alabama credit in the second half. I mean, Auburn, mostly with the backs, ran for 181 yards in the first half. It was Thorne mostly in the second half. Auburn kept the Tigers to 66 rushing yards after the break. So it was better. And you get into these 3rd and 4s in a game like this. It's now early in the fourth quarter. We expected Robbie Ashford to be involved in this game. This was maybe a little bit different than I would have anticipated, but you got Jarquez Hunter in a wildcat formation taking the snap with Robbie Ashford coming across. I thought maybe he was going to throw this. I mean, why would you run jet sweep to Robbie Ashford? I know he's a good athlete, but you run jet sweep. It's pretty good job down here by Caleb Downs. Again, those Auburn tight ends, man, right here on your DBs. It isn't pretty from Caleb Downs, but it's enough to get the job done on a 3rd and 4 play. You'll see it right here. Watch him down here. It's enough. And Jihad Campbell, the one thing this guy is seriously advanced at right now is if he can play clean and play in space, he's going to make tackles like that. Still a work in progress between the tackles, but a nice play there. Still, Auburn football with a 1st and 10, 13-10 left in the game. Shotgun snap. And this is Ashford at the quarterback position on a straight keep. Now, this is Caleb Downs deluxe right here. Takes on the guard, takes on the back, and makes the tackle for loss there. That's Caleb Downs. Pretty good stuff coming from Caleb Downs. In pretty good shape. Maybe Ashford could have cut it right there. I think Jihad was going to be okay if that was the case, coming over the top. But boy, Caleb Downs takes all the question out of it. Nick Saban, you see up there, he really liked that, didn't he? So now it's 2nd and 17. You're in great shape. But then you see Auburn motion Hunter out to empty. And throughout the years, whenever this has happened, especially in the red zone or the outer edge of the red zone, my first inclination has been quarterback draw. Now, you still have Lawson and Campbell in here inside the box, but the coverage Alabama is playing essentially negates their presence there. You see them both run out of the box, playing bracket coverage, matching guys in the passing game. And when that happens against Alabama's pass rush, I mean, the middle of the field just opens wide. You've got an offensive lineman here for Auburn. He's lonely. He doesn't even have anybody to block. So it's 2nd and 17. Jalen Key coming up, but he's not going to get there. It is an easy first down. Not just that, Thorne inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. So Thorne on a 2nd and goal, some more good stuff from Caleb Downs right here. You'll see him right here against Javarius Johnson. This is pretty good coverage against Auburn's most dynamic wide receiver. Thorne sees it. He says, man, I got a safety on Javarius Johnson. I'm going to work this little in-breaking route in the back of the end zone. Pretty good stuff from Caleb Downs through the ball right there in pass coverage. So now 3rd and goal for the Alabama defense. And Auburn says, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take a shot at just running between the tackles with Jarquez Hunter. But you get a pretty good job right there. Tim Smith getting pushed off the point, but linebackers are able to fill. You're able to get Jalen Key involved there. And it is a big stop for Alabama to force that field goal, because you think about the bigger picture of this game. If you don't force the field goal there, if Auburn gets into the end zone, even with the miraculous heave from Milroe to Bond, you're still a 2-point conversion away from just playing overtime. So, red zone stop at a big moment. Alabama football now with 9:26 left in the game. Milroe in the gun, 3rd and 10, wants to go to Burton here. A little bit high and wide, but man, Jermaine has been consistently great with the hands this year. You know, last week against Chattanooga, the touchdown catch in the end zone, ball a little bit high and behind him, goes up and secures it, goes up and gets this one. Not only gets it, he's getting pushed, but he still gets a toe down. Now, on the field, it's ruled incomplete, which again, sort of like Nyblack's play earlier in the game on the first down that he was able to get by just a nose of the football. It went to review. It wasn't going to be overturned. You watch this on replay. This looks good. I mean, but still, does it look good enough to survive replay and be overturned? Nope. And it is not. So Alabama forced to punt one more time. 2nd and 6 for Auburn now from its own 26-yard line. Empty formation. Here it comes. Quarterback draw. This time Alabama actually drops Chris Braswell from an edge spot, but Tim Keenan comes up the field pretty hard. You're good in here, the gut, you're good. But now this space has been created into the boundary, and Thorne is a smart runner. He's not Cam Newton. He's not Michael Vick. He's not Jalen Milroe by any means, but he understands where the openings might come from, and he's able to instinctively put himself in position to produce these kind of runs. And, give Chris Braswell credit for the job he was asked to carry out there. Chris Braswell, a couple of years ago at 225, 230, might be able to make that play at about the 30. But at 255, as you see Keenan get up the field there, creates just enough of an opening for Thorne to work back to that Auburn sideline and convert a first down. Now you get Thorne working short pitch option. It's, I guess, today's version of an option play. And really, as you roll this, probably should have pitched it, because you're getting pretty good work from a tight end on Chris Braswell here on the edge. You're in pretty good shape here with Terry and Arnold. Pitch it out here to Jarquez Hunter. You might have something working. Fortunately for Alabama, Thorne makes one of his few wrong decisions in the run game, and Alabama is able to get a stuff there on first down. 2nd and 9 now for Thorne. Here comes Lawson on the pressure. It's not a outright 5-man pass rush. It's more of a simulated pressure. And Deontay's able to force this thing into the middle of the field. But give Terrion Arnold and Jihad Campbell a lot of credit here on Auburn's top receiver right there. Look at that. Good stuff. As Auburn only had 3 receivers with catches in the game. Only threw what? 15 passes? The last 3 Iron Bowls, Auburn, the most yards it has thrown for is 137 in 2021. Under 100 yards passing for Auburn each of the last 2 Iron Bowls. So now in a 3rd and 9, empty with trips to the field for Auburn, Thorne's going to drop back. This is some good stuff in the pass rush. Jamarian Latham does a nice job. Dallas coming on the twist is able to flush Thorne to his left. And Latham does a nice job of staying in the play and maintaining leverage. We'll see it more here on the replay, and it ends up with Braswell and Turner doing what they do best. Jamarian inside with a Boygby, and boy, Jamarian doing a nice job keeping his hands free and getting over there and kind of forcing Thorne to pull the ball down, which then allows for 15 and 41 to get home. Alabama ensuing possession. Bama going to punt here. Maybe this becomes punt Bama punt 2. Burnip going to punt it away. Pretty good punt. You got Coy Moore back deep now for Auburn. See Alabama getting downfield. Nealon Hibbett, the snapper. There is Campbell. There is Kendrick Law. There's the ball on the ground. This is an ag school. Playing surface shouldn't be a problem, but Coy Moore also slips on this play, which helps create the fumble, which helps create the opportunity for Alabama somehow, some way, trailing by 4 with under 5 minutes to go to set up shop at the Auburn 30-yard line. You motion Jace out of the backfield. 5-man protection against a 4-man pass rush. Protection initially is pretty good, but Jalen's going to be decisive here with his legs. And this time, Kendrick Law holds off on the blindside block. And Jalen's able to go get it to the Auburn 20 for a first down. You'll see it once again. Maybe has the sit down route right there. Is that Malik Benson? And then he's got Kendrick in the flat, got a couple of guys to the field, but kind of knows what he's got there with the coverage and decides to go ahead and take what's available to him with his legs. You don't really see a spy in the immediate area. It's more of a 4-man pass rush with some depth for this guy in the middle of the field. So at that point, based on the depth of that player, Jalen knows he's going to be able to go and get a chunk run for his offense. 2 plays later, 2nd and 11 for the Alabama offense. Jalen in straight drop back mode. Would like to see more play action, but 2nd and 11, no one's going to buy on play action typically in that situation. He's got Dupree working down here on a sit down route. Doesn't really like that. You got an Auburn defender very much in the vicinity. And what happens first and foremost is you give up the pressure here on the interior to Auburn's best pass rusher. Look at this. You'll see Jaden Roberts. So important to win early with your hands and your feet in this situation. And Jaden struggles with both, as we'll watch this unfold here. Watch it one more time. Footwork early, probably not what he wants. And then now leverage becomes a big issue. And he is sort of thrown away there. Nice arm over move. And again, you look at the feet. That's a tough place to be in. And look, Marcus Harris is going to do that to, and has done that to more than just Jaden Roberts this year. Marcus Harris came into the game with 6 sacks, and that was his 7th right there of Jalen Milroe. So now you're playing 3rd and 20. Jalen in the gun. He's got Roydell offset to the right. It is a 4-man pass rush, but you're working a twist for Auburn down here at the bottom. Late pressure. Tyler tries to get there, really doesn't. Jalen, to his credit, steps up And now he's in good shape because you've got, instead of that spy playing at depth, Auburn said, we're going to go ahead and get the guy up in here. Well, now he's on the ground and Jalen is out the gate. And Jalen right here, Nehemiah Pritchett, give him credit, hustling play. Looks like if Jalen just runs through the down marker there, he's going to pick up the first. He tries to make the cut and he runs dead into Pritchett, who takes the worst of this. You see Pritchett, tough hit, about a half yard short of the first down. Again, Jalen making this happen. Pritchett with the big blow. And that sets up Alabama for fourth and inches, fourth and a half yard, basically, for the Crimson Tide offense. And again, you had seen this earlier in the game for Alabama coming off its own goal line. So Auburn with the similar approach to that this time around. This is tough because there's still 31. Look at the play clock. Still 31 seconds on the play clock. And you're going to get up there and you're going to ask your offensive line, your backs to first see if you can draw Auburn offsides with the hard count, as Alabama attempts to do right here. You'll see Jalen still 28, 27 on the play clock, trying to see if he can draw an offsides. Now he looks over and he gets the check from the Alabama sideline. So you're still asking all these guys to hold their water. You're just thinking at this point, somebody's going to flinch, somebody's going to move. You're going down into a difficult end of that stadium, but everybody maintains their composure. Now you get the check from Jalen. And this is a pretty tough ask coming up of Robbie Oots, because I'm sure when Alabama put this part of this play in, the discussion was there's going to be a guy coming hard from the outside. And you'll see Robbie Oots right here. He doesn't get a knockout block, but he does essentially make that Auburn defender take himself out of the play. And now you're working on the edge and you're asking your most physical runner right now, Roydell Williams, to go get the yard. And Roydell's going to do that. Some nice work, too, by C.J. Dupree. Watch Oots right here. Yeah. And now you got Dupree on a couple of guys. One of those guys going to slide off. But at that point, you're already pretty much to the marker, and Roydell's going to get that 10 out of 10. So Alabama now. Boy, some things to recap between that last play and this one, right? You've got another errant snap, a miscommunication, whatever it's been for 12 games now. It hasn't been fixed entirely. And so when it happens with Seth McLaughlin and Jalen Milroe again on second down and results in a massive loss for the Crimson Tide offense, you're thinking to yourself, well, there it is. There is the snap issue that will finally keep Alabama from winning a game, or at least having a decent shot there at the end of this game. And then you have Jalen Milroe's second illegal forward pass of the game. So now you have fourth and goal from the Auburn 31, and Auburn's going to rush just two guys with a spy sitting there in the middle of the field. And as we'll see, Auburn doubles the inside guys, but leaves the outside guys in man to man. So DJ James really has no idea where the football's at right now, because he's got his back to the play, in large part because you rushed two guys and you allowed the quarterback to sit back there and have 6, 7, 8 seconds to throw the football. But I'll say this for Jalen Milroe, and of course this is Gravedigger, as it'll forever be known now. I guess the idea is to go down into the opposing team's end zone and dig holes that you hope you're going to put them in. But Milroe, especially from that point of the football field, the 30-ish or so, I've seen quarterbacks who it seems like they have a hard time with the governor on the arm strength, because it's Hail Mary mode and just the adrenaline and everything else that's coursing through your veins. You're thinking, I got to really launch this thing. And you'll see a lot of these go through the back of the end zone, or they'll go out of the side of the end zone. Boy, Jalen Milroe puts this ball exactly where it needs to be. And you watch, is that the crane kick? Like in real time, it almost looks like it. Watch Bond, 1 foot down, 2 feet down. So that's a Sunday. That's a Sunday score for Isaiah Bond. And Alabama, incredibly, is ahead 27-24 with 32 seconds left to play. Ensuing kickoff, couple of things you're taking into account here. Yes, you expect Auburn to return this, because why not? potential for an explosive play. Auburn just needs 3 points to tie this thing. So if you get a good return, you're able to hit a completion or two. The McPherson kids in general from Fort Payne, Alabama, it's like they enter the world with range of 52 plus, as they get here, as we've seen from those guys in the past. But T going to bring it out of the end zone. Good coverage once again. There's Justin Jefferson down there, Kendrick Law, Christian Story. How about Jihad Campbell? I think he's going to at least be a special teams player of the week for Alabama. There's Q Robinson. And what you're worried about here now, post play, is the stuff, as I'll call it. I'll edit myself and call it the stuff. And if you're Coleman Hutzler, I'm going to guess you told your guys, look, stay above it. Don't get baited into some stuff here, that could help Auburn with a 15-yard penalty to go along with the return. Also thinking ahead, which I know Alabama staff isn't at this moment, but you get some guys kicked out, things like that. That could affect you for Georgia next week. But watch 84. He was in this stuff pretty much all game. He had a shot on James Burnip that I thought could have been called. I thought James Burnip was pretty defenseless. I know he was down the field, but crack back, whatever you wanted to call it, it went uncalled. But 84, he likes this stuff. You'll watch him right here. He's jumping right in there. Actually bumps into an official. You got Deal, a tight end for Auburn, getting the mix. But just keep an eye on what 84 does right here. Running start into the scrum. Just starts hitting guys. And then does it again. Keeps doing it, you know? And so if you're Alabama, again, you've got to be very careful here because you don't want to give up the 15 yards. You don't want to impact yourself in a negative way. You got football to play next week. Can't say that for the Auburn Tigers. Now look at 84. My wrist, it's like Al Shervick in Caddyshack. I think it's broken and he's out. So now it's 1st and 10 for Auburn with just 26 seconds to play. Tough spot for Peyton Thorne because those edge guys are coming in Braswell and Turner. You see Braz early with the little up and under wins quickly, and it's going to be a party at the quarterback. You double Dallas Turner in this situation. Actually tried to double both edges. Doesn't matter. Look at the ball come out there. Wow. Into the end zone. Give 72 credit. He got beat in pass pro, but he goes back, picks it up, tries to run. Watch the ref right here. Whoa, down he goes. I guess he get it out to the 1 yard line. And now it is truly desperation mode with a running clock. Does Auburn get this play off? It's right there. Bang, bang. But again, Dallas Turner early this time. Because Auburn is having to go so quickly, this time Braswell and Turner get one-on-ones, and Thorne's just going to throw it out of there and into the awaiting arms of Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold with an interception to end the first half. Terrion Arnold with an interception to end the second half as he runs this thing into the end zone. Now, I got asked about whether he scored or not. They said right there, do you see his foot about the 4? Guess he stepped out right there, but it matters not because the Alabama Crimson Tide escapes with a 27-24 win over the Auburn Tigers. It's on to Atlanta now for the SEC championship game. And of course, at BamaOnLine.com, we're going to have you covered in the aftermath of the 2023 Iron Bowl. And as we transition to the SEC championship game next Saturday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Crimson Tide and Georgia Bulldogs one more time. We got basketball coverage too at BOL. Alabama men coming off a split of games at the Emerald Coast Classic, lost to Ohio State on Friday, and then really during the Iron Bowl Saturday was able to rebound and get a win over the Ducks of Oregon. But of course, a lot of football coverage, team coverage from our senior staff writer, Mr. Charlie Potter, Clint Lamb, Jimmy Stein, and myself also in that mix. And then recruiting with Tim Watts and Andrew Bone and Joseph Hastings, wall to wall. And we've got that YouTube special right now at BamaOnline.com. If you are a new subscriber of BamaOnline.com, at checkout, if you enter UA1, you're going to get 2 months, not one, 2 months of Bama Online for just $1. Travis Reier, thanking you again for joining us right here on the YouTube home for BamaOnline.com. And until next time, so long, everybody. as we run it. You see